everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Heather and today's going to be another book video. I'm pretty sure my channel is going to consist of book videos from now on, so I don't know that I necessarily have to say that every video, but alas, here we are. So today's video is going to be a little bit about my 2024 reading goals. I have 24-ish books that you'll see in just a moment. I want to read this year, and I know what you're thinking. Heather, you only read like 17 books last year, so why are you going to read this many this year? Well, it's always good to aim high, right? There's like that saying, you fall among the stars, whatever. Okay, anyway, so my goal for 2024 is really to just enjoy reading. You'll see from these books that I have here, they're all ones, for the most part, that have been recommended to me or that I've seen on YouTube from some of the book girlies. Those girlies, they have a special place in my heart because they're really what have gotten me back into YouTube and wanting to share my love for books with you all. I know this video is going to be on the longer side, so I'm just going to try to keep it moving. I'm not going to go too into depth with what the books are about because, well, for one, I haven't read them yet, but for two, you know, we'll be here all day. I have these set up in somewhat, they're all around me, even though you can't see them. I have them set into little categories, and you'll see what I mean once we get to them. So yeah, let's get started. The first category of books are all standalone novels, really. I'll go into why I want to read each one of them a little bit more as I go through. Number one, Beach Read by Emily Henry. You all know I love Emily Henry. She's one of my favorite authors. I've only read 2 books by her, but she's a fave. I've absolutely loved the books that I've read by her. That's Book Lovers and Happy Place. I can't wait to read all of her books. I'm super excited about that. And this one is about Gus and January. Gus and January, yes. I have heard a lot about these characters. I really don't know what the book is about, which I think is best. I think I want to go in blind. But I know some people have reread this book this past year, and I want to read it for the first time. So number 1 on the list. Next up, we have a book by an author that I've been trying to read. This book, I think I put it on my Instagram stories like as a which book should I read almost a year ago, and this one didn't win. And so it's just been on my radar, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But that's Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. And this is a little love story, as it says on the bottom. I just know that Olivia Blake's writing is really nice. That was Sandy. You couldn't even see her, but she walked by. Olivia Blake's writing, I hear, is beautiful, and I really want to get into it. I have another book by her, Masters of Death, I think it's called. It's like, I haven't read that one either, but you'll also see that I have multiple books by the same author that I haven't gotten around to reading yet. I know that's my own book hoarding dilemma. I'm going to get around to them, and that's my goal for 2024. Next up, we have Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I know that they have like a special collector's edition now at Barnes & Noble, but I was like, I haven't read the book yet, so I don't know if I need that, you know, like I think 1 is good enough. Plus that edition, if you have read this book, you might be interested. The special edition is actually an annotated copy by Mia Sheridan, so it has like little tidbits of like what she was thinking in that part, or like how much she loved that line and things like that. And I thought that was really cute, but I didn't want that to be the first copy of it that I read, if that makes sense. I don't know that much about it, but I know that Archer doesn't speak, and then the girl like helps him out of what he's going through, I think. Bree? Is that her name? Archer and Bree? I think so. Yeah, Archer and Bree. Okay, next book is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. This author is someone that I know Larissa here on YouTube highly recommends. It's one of her favorite authors of all time. And in that, just that alone, I was inclined to pick it up. It also was originally like independently published, and then I saw that it's now at Barnes & Noble with a new cover. And when I saw the cover, I was like, oh my god, I need to have it. Like, look, she's got blue hair. If you have any recollection of me posting videos back in the day, I had purple hair and blue hair, and yeah, the hair is very colorful at times, but now it's boring. Just kidding. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine. Again, no idea what this one's about. I know it's a romance. I think it's a sports romance based on that. Oh, I remember the premise of this one. It's like there's a football player and he's like mad at the world, and then his personal assistant quits, but then he comes back and is like, no, I need you. And that's where it goes. I don't know. Okay, there's also like a theme so far. We got some blue books, and I think that's adorable. Okay, next book. I can't believe I haven't read this yet because it was the book of the year for 2022. Okay, I understand that was like a year ago, but that's a year too long in my opinion. The next book is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And like I said, this book has won awards. This book has been loved by so many people. I don't even know. Nobody really tells you the synopsis of the book, but I think that it's about these people that create a video game, and it's like their life journey as they navigate this world. I don't know, but how beautiful is the cover, first of all? Part of why I choose books is because of the cover. Whoops. But another one that I'm looking forward to reading. And if the synopsis, like if you go and read it and you are like, I don't know, that's kind of how I was feeling. But I feel like it's going to be a good read. I feel like it'll be good. And another one of my goals for the year is to get some of my book of the month books off my TBR, because I get books nearly every month and they just keep piling up, and that's no reflection of book of the month except that they have good books, I guess. And yeah, so this one is one of them. Gotta read that one ASAP. Did I mention these aren't in order? Because I don't know what order I'm gonna read them in. I'm a mood reader. Keeping on the theme of book of the month books, I have this one that, oh my god, I'm embarrassed to say this one was a book of the year finalist in 2020. We're in 2024. It's never too late to read a good book though, right? And that's how you know that it's a great book, because it stands the test of time. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Anyway, this is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Another gorgeous girls read gorgeous books. Who am I? What am I saying? Again, a beautiful book. This one is about, I think this is like somewhat of a fantasy. I think like the girl Addie is invisible to everyone except like one person, and that's who like that she falls in love with or something. No, I don't know. Let's read. France 1714. Oh, I think it starts then, and then 300 years later, she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name, and suddenly everything changes again. That sounds so exciting. It really does. Like, you go into a bookstore, people haven't recognized you or like acknowledged that you exist for 300 years, and now you're in a bookstore and someone's like, you. Okay, this book, want to read. The next book is one that I've actually already started. I guess you can say that considering I've read one chapter, but that is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I know Colleen gets a little bit of a bad rep, but I love her books. They have like a special place in my heart. I've read her books like years ago. I want to say it was like 2015. I don't know, but it's been a while that I've had Colleen like on my shelves. My sister Kayla read this book and she's obsessed with it. when I was trying to decide what book to read next, I texted her and I said, oh, Verity, and she was like, absolutely yes, go read it right now. So this is the book I'm reading next. So maybe that's cheating a little bit, or maybe not. Maybe I'm sticking to my goals for the year, you know. This one, it starts off as this girl like walking in across the street, and then the person in front of her gets killed like by a bus. It's like a little Mean Girls moment, but scarier. So far so good. I mean, I only read 10 pages, but I'm gonna keep reading. Verity. I hope this video is not pointless. I hope that you get some enjoyment out of this. Another one that my sister has highly recommended, and we're moving into some mystery thrillers. That is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I'm sorry, Alex, but this book. Another one that like is wild. From what I've heard, this is a book about a couple who's like happily married, supposedly, and then one day the wife shoots the husband and never speaks again. And doesn't that sound thrilling? I mean, yeah. No, but it's supposedly really good. I know so many people really enjoy this. I was very scared of it for a long time because I am a chicken and I don't like reading graphic scenes, especially if there's like blood. Like, I'm a little bit better with books than I am with like TV. Like, if you see something graphic on TV, like in a movie or something, I will faint. If there's a lot of blood. Everyone yells at me, Heather, don't go down. Anyway, getting sidetracked. The Silent Patient. Another mystery thriller that I'm super excited to read is another one from Book of the Month. This is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And I think this is the one about the podcast. Yeah, it says, when a famous podcaster interviews a stranger promising to divulge the story of a lifetime, secrets emerge that threaten to expose the truth of the lives they've both worked hard to protect and project. Yeah, none of this is true. I think this one, like I said from the little blurb, it's something about someone who has a podcast, and then she meets this woman who like wants to be on the podcast, and so then she is, but then the woman like goes missing. I'm terrible at this, aren't I? The next book is the only memoir or nonfiction book that I have included in this list. Mostly because I'm not really like a huge nonfiction reader. I like to escape when I read a book, and that isn't always the case when you're reading nonfiction. I don't know. But I do want to get into a little bit more of nonfiction books. I want to read more about other people's experiences. I feel like they could be very valuable lessons and things like that. So one of the ones on my list, or the one on this list, The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. My older sister, Christy, was obsessed with Britney Spears growing up, and so naturally, as the younger sister, I was like, oh my god, me too. You know, obviously she's been through a lot over the years, and I just felt like I never really knew her story. And so when this came out, I was like, you know what, let's give this a shot. Let's read a little bit about Britney. I've heard good things about this. I mean, I don't know how much of it was like solely written by her. Don't get mad, guys, okay? But I love Carrie no, that's not what I meant to say. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. Like, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, probably my favorite book ever. I mean, that book really got me back into reading. That was like the first book I read 2022, I think, or one of the first books, and it really got me so excited about reading. I loved it. Daisy Jones, yeah. Malibu Rising. I've read a decent number of books by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is why I was so excited to read Carrie Soto Is Back. Unfortunately, I don't even have the bookmark in here anymore. That sucks. I read about half of this book, and I don't know, there was a lot of tennis in it, and I knew that kind of going in, but I don't know. I think the point of it was like that Carrie Soto is a little bit hard to like, and I think that was definitely the case. But I think that the end of the book is going to be worth the difficulty of getting through it all. I don't know. I do want to read this. I know everyone that finishes it is like, oh my God, that was such a good read. And I love her writing. It's just, I couldn't get through it. I don't know. So all that to say that this is the only book on here that I have started, but I DNF'd, but only for a little while. I'm coming back to it. That's on my to-do list for the year. So Carrie Soto, she's coming back, y'all. Right back to me. Okay, another one by an author that I've been dying to read is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I know so many people love Abby Jimenez, and I want to be one of those people. I know that her books are great because my mom read this one, and she enjoyed it. And I know other people that have read Abby Jimenez's books. The most recent one was Yours Truly, and honestly, that's the one I want to read the most, but I know that you have to go in order. Or do you? Let me know if you know. But either way, I know this one came out first, so I want to read this one before the other one, because I think they are like connected in some way. It's a small town romance where like the girl is from a city, the guy is from a small town, and then she has to go there. That's all I know. But I heard it's good, so it's on my list. Another author that I've been dying to read is Ali Hazelwood with The Love Hypothesis. This book, when did this come out? 2021, September of 2021. We're gonna be in September of 2024 by the time I read this. Just kidding. I'm gonna read this. I'm putting it at the top of the list because it's been too long that it's been on my shelves. Because I'm pretty sure I got this from Book of the Month, like when it was released. So, but this is a women in STEM romance. I actually know a decent amount about this book because it's been out for a while and I know a lot of people recommend it. There's like a student assistant at the like science lab that she's working at, and I think it's like their relationship, but she has to fake date someone to get back at someone else. All up in the air at this point. I know that before Ali Hazelwood, there weren't as many books about women in STEM, and I think that her focusing on that genre of books is really awesome. We're getting there, people. We are getting there. Okay, so those were all of the like standalone books that I wanted to have on my list this year. Everything else is part of a series. And so I didn't include the entire series in my 24 books, but just like the next book that I have to read in the series, or the first book if I haven't gotten around to the series yet. First, we have some fantasy, and that is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. First of all, gorgeous! Look how pretty this is. I held off for so long buying this, and I'll tell you why. It's because there is the sequel to this book, and they don't have it in this beautiful like special edition. They have it in the regular like paperback. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll wait until they come out with the second one. And then I was in Barnes & Noble with my sister, and I was just like, you know what am I waiting for? You know, like, I need to own this copy of this book, even though I haven't read it yet, and I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I think I will. Sarah Crowley here on YouTube, she recommends this series, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I believe it's a romantasy, right? It's definitely fantasy. It says, a brilliant fantasy with a boldly beating heart. Mary E. Pearson is a fearless storyteller. I'm still trying to catch my breath from this book. Oh, by Stephanie Garber. It's so funny that that's who wrote the little blurb, because the next book is by Stephanie Garber. Garber. I hope I'm entertaining to at least one person. I will keep you guys updated once I read it. I really have been wanting to read this. It's just I have to be in like a fantasy mood, you know. I just finished, like 2 books ago, I finished Powerless by Lauren Roberts. It was great, by the way. Don't want to read too many fantasies back to back because then I feel like I'll get either confused or bored or both. So yeah. The next book is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Another one that's been highly anticipated. See, the problem with this is I need all 3 books, so there's 3 books in the series. I need all 3 books to be in the same format, because if they're not, there's a little part of my brain that's just like, yeah, that is why I don't have the second and third books of this series, even though they're out. It's because they are hardcover and I got the paperback of this. So you see the dilemma that I have, maybe, or you're like, get a grip, girl. This one I know is also a romantasy. Something about like the King of Hearts, I think. Evangeline, the Prince of Hearts, excuse me. Sorry, he hasn't gotten that high yet. Did I mention my sister loves it? So I gotta follow her recommendations. Yeah, those two were books that are part of a series that I do not have the follow-up books yet. One of the series I want to read this year is the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher. I've heard tons of good things about Lauren Asher. I know she just came out with another book. What is it called? Love Redesigned, I think. It's like a Disney World situation, and there are 3 brothers, and each one has something they have to fulfill in their grandfather's will in order to get the park. This is Rowan and Zara. Zara submits a drunk proposal criticizing Dreamland's most expensive ride, and then Rowan offers her a job. So it goes on from there. And then I don't remember the tropes of the other 2 books, but I have them, which is why I need to read them, because unlike smart people, I buy all the books before I start the first one. So Dreamland Billionaire series, gotta read the fine print. And then I'll get to the other ones eventually. In terms of the 24 that are in this video, I'm only including the first one. But when I get to the other ones, you know, I get to them, and that's fine. Fourth Wing. Probably one of the most viral fantasy books that have come out this past year. I know it has dragons. I know there's romance and fantasy, and something about like going to this school where you have to like prove yourself. I have this series. It's a mystery series, young adult mystery, and it's called The Naturals. The Naturals. There are 4 books. They're still in their little plastic wrap. You have The Naturals, Killer Instinct, All In, and Bad Blood. I want to start this series, even if I just read the first book. I think it'll be a fun one. This is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, who wrote The Inheritance Games, a series I didn't read, but I heard this one's a little bit better, depending on what you were looking for, of course. From what I've heard, it's like young adult, like Criminal Minds. Each character has a specific talent that makes them useful in this like FBI world. It's about how they all work together to solve a case. And I don't know, that sounds fun. I like Criminal Minds. I like little found family moments. And so, yeah, the Natural series. Moving back into the realm of romance, I haven't heard one person say something bad about this series, and so it's on my list. And that is Chestnut Springs by Elsie Silver. I only have the first 2 books in this series. Maybe I'm learning. Maybe I need to like make sure I like the series before I buy the rest of it. The Chestnut Springs series starts with Flawless and then Heartless. This is a romance series about cowboys, and I never thought I would be into something like this. I'm a city girl at heart, you know. I'm not really like a small town romance kind of gal, but I eat them up. Okay, don't yell at me, okay? But another series that I've heard mixed reviews on, okay, this is where it gets bad, because I've heard mixed reviews on these books, yet I have, let me just show you, the first 4 books, but not just any 4 books, these big ass books. Look how big they are. They are like, how many pages? Like 700 pages or something? Almost 600 pages. And that's just this one. I think they get longer, right? This one's bigger. Anyway, I'm gonna stop being dramatic. This is the Boys of Tommen series by Chloe Walsh. We have Binding 13, Keeping 13, Saving 6, and Redeeming 6. Is that? Yeah. I don't like these covers very much, and I know that they've been reprinted because these are the indie covers. Part of me is like, okay, cool, I have the indie covers, but also the new covers are just like nicer and like more aesthetically pleasing. If you look at the new covers that are being sold like in Barnes, they do not look this big. Like, first of all, look at the text, okay? It's small. I'm gonna get over the size of the books eventually, but I also don't really know what these books are about, just that they're about Johnny and Shannon. And I heard that they're kind of dark, so if you are interested in reading these, you know, maybe look up your trigger warnings. But I hear it's like a found family, a really good story that like pulls at your heartstrings. My goal is to read at least the first book to make sure that I like them, and so that I know if I want to continue the series. If I don't end up wanting to continue, then I don't know, maybe I'll give these books to a friend or something. I kind of cheated a little bit because there are 24 books, right? But in order to read this book, which is part of the Hunger Games series. So these books are by Suzanne Collins. If you're not super familiar, there's a series of books called the Hunger Games trilogy. It's also movies. This is what they look like. We have Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. Upside down. These books were a vital, like, core piece of my childhood. The movie for the fourth book, or is it, I think it's like a prequel, right? Yeah, it's like a prequel. The movie just came out a couple months ago, and my goal was to read the books before the movie came out. Granted, I have yet to see the movie, so technically I can still do this, but I wanted to reread the first 3 books and then read this book. So this is the one that I'm counting on my list, but I kind of got to read these first, so maybe there's 27 books on this list. I don't know. That's why I said 24-ish. 24-ish. Don't yell at me. It's Snow's story. So if you're not familiar with the movies or the books, I definitely recommend looking into them. But I would suggest going in with the original 3 and then with this one. And now we get into series that I've started, but just have yet to continue. And I will. I really am going to continue these series, especially this one. I mean, all of them. If you watched my previous video, you'll know that Divine Rivals was one of my top reads of 2023. And Ruthless Vows, the sequel or the final book in the duology, just came out a couple weeks ago. I can't wait to read this. Divine Rivals is a love story, but also a war story, and the book leaves off kind of on a cliffhanger, and so I'm interested to see what happens, like, with the war, with the romance. Just get back into this world because it's written so beautifully. It's very magical in the sense that they have magic typewriters. I would love to see your words catch fire with mine. That's so beautiful. I read Things We Never Got Over last year, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 5 stars. Knox and Naomi, they have a special place in my heart because it's the first book in this series. The second book is Things We Hide from the Light, and the third book is Things We Left Behind. So they look so cute together. I can't wait to have them all read and then them be on my shelves. Like, how pretty. So cute. Now, I know I said I'm excited to read all these, right? But this one, I'm a little hesitant to read because most people don't like this one. I think it has to do with, like, the sheriff. I'm gonna read it because I hear the third one kind of wraps it all up nicely. One of my goals is to try not to go too much off of other people's recommendations. I mean, of course, other people are gonna recommend things and I'm gonna be like, okay, yeah, let me read that. But I want to make my own opinions, as one does. So I'm not gonna let any negative reviews hold me back from reading this. Things We Hide from the Light, Knock 'Em Out series from Lucy Score. And that brings me to the last set of books that I want to read in 2024 that are on my radar. The next books in the ACOTAR series. So I mentioned this in my previous video as well. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses last year. It's a little intimidating because I read this book, right? It's not that long. It's long, but it's not like super long. How many pages are in here? 419. Okay, decent sized book. This is the rest of the series. Okay, so my goal is to at least read the next one. I'm starting off small. I don't want to overwhelm myself, but obviously I want to read the whole series. Court of Mist and Fury will be next, then A Court of Wings and Ruin, A Court of Frost and Starlight, and then A Court of Silver Flames. is the last one. And these are all by Sarah J. Maas. This is a romantasy novel series. I mean, I really loved ACOTAR. I don't know if it's like the best book written in all of time, but it was a good one. And it was entertaining, it was fun, it had me hooked, you know? So what more can I ask for in a book, really? And those are all the books that I have on my radar for this year. Now, in a perfect world, I would read every single one of those, plus more, right? I am not going to get down on myself for not reading certain books in a certain time span. But at the same time, I think it's good to have goals. I think it's good to set something up for yourself. And that is exactly what I'm doing. So 24 books-ish to read in 2024. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it was entertaining. If you have like questions about any of these, I mean, I haven't read them yet, so I don't know how in depth I can possibly go, but I would love to start a conversation in the comments. I would love to talk to you guys more about any of these, and I would love to also know what books are on your 2024 TBR. What books are you planning to read? Are any of these now on your radar because of me? I'd love to hear it all. Again, thank you so much for watching. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. And I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye!